All right, so let's let's get into our usual Twister Vlad TV shit. You haven't been here in a while, so I kind of want to take people through the story and focus on some of the important parts
Okay.
in in Twister's history,
Yes,
because I think since last time that we talked, which was a couple of years ago, I interviewed Steve Rifkind,
Okay.
and what I didn't realize was that Twister, who's known as Tongue Twister during that time,
Yeah.
that was the first artist signed to Loud Records. Twister originally was Tongue Twister.
Correct.
And now, did he have the Guinness Book of World Records for
Yeah.
the fastest
For the fastest
whatever?
rapper ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did it on Yo MTV.
Okay, so before we get into that, Chicago, there was no rappers from Chicago back then. Why did you decide to go to this new city? Because back then it was really East Coast, West Coast. The South, I think, had like Ghetto Boys and it was kind of starting off, but really it was mostly East Coast.
It's not that I went to Chicago. I mean, Eric DeWiz, who was like Twista's manager, he was a DJ at GCI in Chicago. He had a conversation with Fade. Fade plays me the record. I'm like, wow, this could be our first artist. Let's fly him out.
Okay.
So I flew him out, signed him, and then that was it. I mean, I just thought it was like, this is a cool-ass record. He's a cool-ass artist. He's young. I wasn't thinking East Coast, West Coast. I was just thinking,
There's a dope artist.
this kid could spit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of organic. My man Fade at the label at the time when it was a promotion company, he heard my music from the promoter he was using in Chicago. Shout out to Eric. And man, they recognized the different flow. And they flew me out there and everything kind of happened. And I was the first artist. And it was like, a new experience for me. So it was me getting my feet wet in the game. And even though we didn't take it as far as we could have taken it, I still look at it as a part of history. I get to say I was the first artist signed to Loud Records,
Yeah, which went on to be SRC Records, and
Yeah.
which includes Akon and Wu-Tang,
Yeah,
and
Wu-Tang,
Big Pun,
Mobb Deep,
and
everybody,
Mobb Deep, yeah, man, and I ended up working there for a while as well, and so Vlad TV is kind of part of the Loud Records family tree.
Yeah, we
in
all
its
come
own
from
way,
that.
So
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you dropped your first album, which was Running Off at the Mouth.
Exactly, running off at the mouth.
And I guess that the first single started to do well, but there was some label drama going on, which kind of messed everything up.
At that time, man, I was young. It was a little bit of everything, probably a little label drama, a little bit at the time, people not being ready for that type of music that I was releasing because, I was rapping fast. So I was getting a lot of that, man, we don't understand what you saying, man. Get that fast shit out of here. It was a bunch of different shit being said. So I think I was a little before my time at the same time, too. Like a few different factors played into why it didn't go as far as it could have went.
Okay. And then you were getting ready to drop your second album, Resurrection.
Yeah.
And were you still on Loud at the time or no?
I was still on Loud at the time, and we actually asked for a release. We mutually parted ways. They let me go, I left, whatever it was. Once we broke off, we decided to go the independent route. So I started this whole independent thing like early in the game, before a lot of people even understood what it was, right out the gate after the one project we did with Loud. We went right into the Resurrection project where I had a little more control and, it was fun in a different aspect.
Okay, but as it so happens, you get ready to drop Resurrection,
Yeah.
and then another Chicago artist named Common.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he was Common Sense back then or just Common.
Yeah.
His second album is called Resurrection.
Yeah.
So did that create some level of confusion or?
No, you know what? No, I was never that type of artist. I never really dug into certain shit, on a certain level. Like, I was comfortable with myself. And I was in my own zone. So that type of thing never bothered me. Plus, we were two opposites. So we didn't clash. He was from the South Side. I was from the West Side. He was more of a lyricist on the hip hop vibe. I was more of a lyricist on the street vibe. So, even though we all was from the streets though, but we were kind of in different lanes a little bit musically. So that never bothered me. I actually didn't even recognize it or look at it a certain way until later. Like, wow, we had the same name of a project, but it never really affected anything.
Right, and you guys were like the only two Chicago rappers, really. I mean,
Yeah.
with kind of national prominence at the time. So
Yeah, and then my record was independent, you know, here with it, and his record was like on the major label, so I think it got more attention.
yeah, and you know that was kind of Common's breakout record.
Exactly.
The first album did okay, but that second one was the one that kind of got people familiar with Common.
Yes, sir.
And then you know
Shout
he
out
just
to the
kept
homie.
kept going with it, and you know here we are today. He's still doing his thing.
The man, right?